Questions for Joe Biden. When I think of questions for Joe Biden in 2022, I think of questions that our news media should have asked Joe Biden but didn't. So in fact, any implicit criticism here is of the American news media and not so much of Joe Biden. The elephant in the room is that we have a number of questions I should ask about the January 6th public hearing, which kicked off last week. And that in itself is also a criticism of the American news media, who ran this illegally composed hearing, which was essentially a fundraiser for the Democratic Party. Every news network, with the exception of one, ran the public January 6 hearings with no counterpoint, no corrections, nothing other than praise and adulation of the Democratic Party running the hearing. So let's commence with the questions I have for Joe Biden. It's already against the law to shoot school children. Did you know that? You have said at various speeches that you are doing everything possible to reduce gasoline prices for the American consumer. And yet you have also said that our forced transition to green energy away from petroleum products is necessary and will be worth the costs involved. Why do you say contradictory things about American energy policy from one speech to the next? Why hasn't your personal diplomacy with Russian President Putin delivered results? President Biden, you suggested prosecuting former Obama National Security Advisor Michael Flynn using the Logan Act. What was your thinking at the time? Have you thought about Michael Flynn at all, since you were instrumental in starting his prosecution in the first place? Mr. Biden, when you were a 2020 candidate for president, your primary opponents on Super Tuesday chose to stay in the election to block Bernie Sanders from earning their delegates. What was promised by the other Democrat candidates to you as they assisted you in rigging the 2020 presidential election that day? The Affordable Health Care Act, signed into law by President Obama, offers insurance coverage to poor people with extremely high deductibles. This makes the insurance promised by you worthless. Is there any plan to offer real insurance to America's working poor? President Trump assigned his children various diplomatic and hosting capacities at the Trump White House. Why haven't we seen any such role for your son, Hunter Biden? What makes Hunter unsuitable as our nation's goodwill ambassador? Mr. Biden, when a reporter raises an issue of national interest to you, you often appear uninformed on various topics unless someone has prepared a summary for you. Who is assigned at the White House to brief you on national issues? And if you don't have someone in that capacity, why not? Why aren't you allowed to speak extemporaneously to reporters? Why do you have so few presidential interviews compared to both of your predecessors? And why have you not conducted a one-on-one interview this year, with the exception of comedian Jimmy Kimmel? Did your Vice President, Kamala Harris, ever identify the root causes of illegal immigration from Latin America across America's southern border? Did she present her report to you in writing or orally? No, sir, that's not what orally means. Many Americans, such as George Floyd, Prince, Tom Petty, and actor Michael Williams, died with fentanyl in their system. This drug is manufactured by the Chinese Communist Party and shipped freely across America's southern border into our country's biggest cities. Why is stopping fentanyl and other opioids not a priority for you or your administration? Mr. Biden, you boasted as a candidate that your energy plan was not the Green New Deal. Can you state in 2022 what is different in your energy plan from the Green New Deal? Along those lines, your presidential motorcade appears to consist of low-mileage SUVs that guzzle gasoline and diesel fuel. When will you abandon those vehicles as per your prescription for the rest of America? Also, will Air Force One be powered by solar panels or a wind turbine? Mr. Biden, you touted your diplomatic skills as the best reason to put you into the White House. Given your diplomatic relations currently with Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Europe, Russia, China, North Korea, and the rest of Asia, can you point to any successes that your diplomatic skill improved our relations with any of the above? Mr. President, who is the man behind the curtain pulling the levers? Mr. President, why do you hate the poor, minorities, women, and senior citizens, people on fixed incomes? You know, the people most hurt by your reckless economic and energy policies. Mr. Biden, you have stated that your political party represents light and any other political movement represents darkness. Will you ask House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to release to the public all of the video footage from January 6, 2021? Why was this footage selectively edited and released in very small amounts at the public hearing this week solely to benefit the Democratic Party? If you are on the side of light, why all the secrecy? And Mr. President, you've stated repeatedly that the events on January 6 represented sedition and an insurrection against the legal government of the United States. Yet 0 shots were fired by the insurrectionists in question. Can you explain why there was no gunfire, especially in light of your continued criticism of the National Rifle Association? Now, these questions of Joe Biden are sometimes sarcastic, but also have a very real focus on his actual policies. Biden made many promises about how he was going to unify America and protect the world by removing Donald Trump from office, but his promises have not lived up to reality. The powerful united to ensure that Donald Trump would not be president after the 2020 presidential election. And that's truly what they fear. They fear you, the American people, having a voice in the direction and the political structure of this country. Thank you.